We're live. Welcome in. Hello, everybody. So, another just kind of random pop-up live. I've been having trouble fitting in the Thursday night lives just kind of into life and schedule. And I don't know, the evenings is just kind of, it's nice to be outside or spend it with the family. And now that the garden is ready, hand cream. So I just decided, a couple of times, maybe if I'm just, just trying to figure out a time, right? So if I'm in and I'm on available, some mornings that are kind of open for me, I might just pop on and do a live. And so yesterday I was thinking of doing one this morning. And yesterday I was over in Catherine's lives. I try to hit those every Wednesday night. She goes live around 5:30 Eastern. And all of a sudden I was like, you know what? I should have her come on my channel and we can talk more about the garden and the flowers. So I did invite her yesterday, so I'm hoping that she'll be able to make it today. It wasn't 100%, but I feel confident enough she'll pop in at some point and we can have a chat with her. I will also be dropping the link, come into the live as well, and we can just kind of have a bit of a chit chat. It's been a nice time. Hey, good morning, Krabby. How are you this morning? Hey, Mrs. Creekside Maples. Hey, Joni. How are you this morning? Nice to see you. I find it's funny because when I go live in the mornings, it's a different crew. Nice too to mix it up a bit. So what has been going on here this week? Oh my goodness. So I finally got my tour video out yesterday. And it's just been nice to have everything done. So I did film it right before we got inundated with a couple real rain. So right now my peonies are not looking anything like they looked in the video, unfortunately. Hey, Catherine, how are you? Welcome in. What is it? Sorry, Nicole. It's a surprise. I forgot I was going to let you on, but I kind of was running late this morning. I got behind. I have been experimenting lately with this flatbread that we got. So the other day, Monday, we had a day off from school. My daughter had a day off. So we went and did some shopping and we were going to go for lunch. And I said, what do you want for lunch? She really wanted a shawarma. And I was like, ooh, that sounds good. And we were not far at all from this Mediterranean, it's called what? Authentic Mediterranean grocery store. And they have everything live from the sewing room. Exactly. Yes. They have everything you could ever want. There's like a whole aisle of like olives. And the olive bar is just magical. I should have taken pictures in there. Like the whole place is just incredible. So they have like a fresh food counter and then they make shawarmas and shish taouk and all of this that you can order as takeout or whatever. And then they have a little area you can actually sit and eat. So it was really delicious. I did send you a link in the email, Catherine, if you want to pop on up, you're more than welcome. And we went, and so they had this like flatbread and it looks kind of like a giant saltine cracker. It's square and it's super, super, super thin. And I hadn't really had anything like it. And they had out of this like ground beef that was seasoned. It was absolutely amazing. It was like, I'm assuming it had like cinnamon and sumac and coriander and cumin and a lot of those just really nice kind of Middle Eastern spices. And then they wrapped it up in this and then baked it. And at first I was like, is this phyllo, however you want to say it. But no, she said it was this flatbread. So we bought the flatbread. So we came home and we kind of made our version of it. I should post the name. I can't pronounce it. It's like Matsuka or something. Rochelle, do you know the region? Yes, it does. And I'm constantly pulling it out of my backyard. Sometimes I'll leave it if it's not if it's like right in the prime spot, I pull it out. I've tried transplanting it. Didn't want to transplant because it's got a pretty long taproot, but it grows wild like right behind the house. Right behind my house, I have wild mullein, burdock, and plantain. So I am good for all the medicinal herbs that everyone else is like trying to buy seeds for. And I laugh every time I see someone buy burdock seeds online, like from Baker Creek. I'm like, oh my God, because they are just insane here. And like my neighbor for years. They keep wanting to come back in the yard because they have insane tap roots. So if I ever decide I want to do anything medicinal with any of it, I can just go around behind to the field back there and dig it all up. I don't have to have it in my yard. You found 2 little ones on this property. Yeah, they're pretty. Can get really tall though, and if they're like right in the front of a flower bed, it's like no can do. I have just too small of a property. You know, I have very, very narrow backyard, so I just don't have room for too many things that are just kind of popping up. I have left the evening primrose though. It's coming up in a really bad spot, but coming up, and I find that it serves as a really good trap crop for Japanese beetles, and then they leave a lot of my other stuff alone. They just stay on that. So you're wanting to dry the leaf. You know what? I've never really even looked into how people use it. I know it's a great medicinal herb, and I've never looked into how it's actually used or preserved. And it's growing all over around me. So, you know what? Maybe that's something I'll delve into. Does anyone know of a good video on mullein? I don't know. There's probably some out there. I know. Oh God, herb stuff. But I think they were doing, I think it was dandelion though. I don't think they were dealing with mullein in the video that I saw. But there probably are plenty out there. I should look into it because I do like to try, you know, to stay as natural as I can, and I do take my supplements and all of that. So that would be a good idea. So yeah, so I'm doing these different wraps. So this morning, my husband found brie in the fridge downstairs that I bought at Costco last week that I forgot about, because special things like that do not go in the fridge downstairs. The fridge downstairs is for drinks and extras. So like extra eggs or milk or things like that, not one of a kind items. Those have to come upstairs because they will get forgotten. So and I put a little piece of brie on it, and then I put a little bit of the fig jam, and then I rolled them up, sprayed them with a little bit of olive oil, and threw them in the air fryer, and they were delicious. So the one thing I like about this flatbread is it is fairly low carb. It's not like, it doesn't say low carb, but it's much lower carb than a lot of other, you know, like things like that, especially if you're just eating a small piece of it. So it's fitting very well into my lifestyle. I can't say diet, but whatever. So I'm trying to, you know, keep it low carb and healthy. And it's a nice little treat to have. Yeah. And the brie was really, really good. With cottage cheese, and that was also good, but I think the brie was better. Yeah. The meat was really, really good in it as well though. You have planted plenty of violets, another superfood, so I'm happy. Yes, I don't have any wild violets in my yard. I have a few that I planted, actually, that I got at a plant sale. And it had like just a couple blooms on it, but I do know you can make like violet jams and stuff with the violets as well, the flowers. The problem with all these jams is there's so much sugar. So much sugar. Oh my goodness, Miss Catherine is outside. Our special guest today, Miss Catharine from Catherine's Garden and Home. Her link is in, I'm going to add her up right now. Her link is in the description blocks below. So let's see, can we hear you?
Yes. Someone has decided to cut. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
You're Catherine. Okay, let me just see if I can fix your microphone. Can you guys hear her? Oh, you know what? Hold on.
Do I need to touch? This is my first time ever.
No, I can hear you. It was my problem. My computer last night, and she wears the headphones, and so the sound was still set to the headphone setting. I forgot to change it to speakers.
But you might hear somebody mowing their lawn all of a sudden. Everybody wants to be out doing something because we just received some really beautiful rain, and so I think they wanted to cut, they wanted.
Okay, you got to tell us what's in those arrangements next to you. Those are gorgeous.
Okay, so these are from my garden. This is a purple sensation allium when they start to turn to seed. And this here is variegated euonymus.
Oh, nice.
Shrub. And this is part of peony leaves. I had a peony here. And so these are the leaves of the peony in this one. This is an old arrangement. And then this other one is a much more recent one. And this is a dead nettle or Beatrice, I think, or
Oh,
Limiatrice,
okay. Yeah, yeah.
like that. The pink. This is spirea.
Oh, it's
Is a
beautiful.
big bang spirea from Proven Winners, and that's a
Beautiful.
shrub. And then this is apple mint. Apple mint.
Nice.
That's growing wild,
That's
but
got to
it's
smell amazing.
yeah, and it feels like lamb's ear. You know, it has that kind of texture and so forth. I love.
Really nice. I
And,
grew apple mint last year, I think, but it never got very big.
oh, okay. Well, mine in my garden, it's growing all over. It's growing so well. Hey, how are you, G Mama?
Your mom was stuck in the ads. Poor thing. I'm like, just skip them. Just skip through the ads. Don't worry about it. So yeah, I do want to welcome in a few people. So we
Yes.
have I haven't really said hi to everybody. Cole and Nicole Smith's Gardening. We have Joni from Creekside Maples. We have Chloe K. Welcome in. We have Krubby the Beagle. And I saw G Mama. And did I see someone else pop in? Or I'm watching from both chats and I don't want to miss anyone. Oh, a garden for mom. Welcome in, everybody. And way over from the West Coast or the Hawaii of Canada, because she's like to brag about being in a zone 9. Yeah. So I'm a little bitter. I'm a little bitter about the zone 9. Those are absolutely beautiful. At a glance, I thought it looked like fall the flower, the spirea,
Uh
just at a glance. And I was like, but they're not that color yet.
huh.
Oh, those are beautiful. So you are sitting out on your deck. If you have not watched her channel, she has a beautiful property, and it's the one I have it on because I watch a lot of my shows on the TV. My husband will walk through. He doesn't really watch the videos. He'll walk through and he kind of knows, oh, is this the lady with that? Is this the lady with that? Every time I'm watching one of Catherine's tour videos, he just stops and goes, wow, that is a beautiful yard. It's so well maintained, and it has very now, like, I don't know how to say it. It doesn't look like, it's like just everything's been put in it right. It looks like it's naturalized. It's been there for a while. It's been tended for years. It's a very relaxing, I don't know. It's a beautiful garden. All the tours are just absolutely gorgeous. So sometimes I watch them on the TV and I forget to comment and go back and comment, but they're absolutely beautiful. And I try never to miss her live. So if you guys are looking for something fun to do on a Wednesday evening, Miss Catherine goes live every night, 5:30 Eastern.
Yes, 5:30 Eastern.
And you're in the Boston area, right?
Yes,
Yes.
Boston, USA, Massachusetts.
Boston, USA,
Massachusetts. Boston, Massachusetts, USA.
Boston, Massachusetts. Yes. So Miss Joni says she is going to check your channel out. So she is from New Brunswick out in Canada as well. And so we have a couple Canadians in the chat today. Actually, just south of you for sure. And not too far from Danny at Wicked Awesome Gardening, who's in Beverly.
Okay.
I think. Yeah, so she's just north of Boston or just around there, right?
Yeah,
But not for long.
Beverly,
She's going to be moving soon into her new homestead. So that's really exciting. So what is something new this year for you that you're really excited to see how it does? Do you have anything in particular or a few things?
Well, I don't know if it happened to you all, but my roses, this is really the rose season time this in June. I had two beautiful climbing roses, my Eden climbing rose and Cornelia rose. And both of them, with the hard freeze, died back really hard. And I thought that I'd lost them permanently. So I had to cut them down. And before, they would be all the way up on the deck, on the railing, and the whole area would be just smelling with perfume, and rose perfume is just something to look forward to. So what I'm planning on doing is going out and getting me some new roses. And just adding some more roses to the garden. My knockout roses died back. I mean, it's just been
that's
terrible.
rough.
So what I really want to do is to add some new roses to the garden. But what I found that because I don't have the distraction of the roses, I'm now able to look at the rest of the garden and see what I need to add to it to see what I have first and then see what I need to add to it that is not a rose that would not suffer. Like for example, this spirea, to
Yeah.
really think about adding more spireas to the garden, which I was able to get last year from Lowe's. They had them in the clearance section. And if you don't shop your clearance section of Lowe's, go and do that because you'll find that you can get some really good plants on, for 50% off or so forth. And
Here in Canada, I find our Home Depot and our Lowe's does not discount anything. States. Here
oh,
you can have a stick that's like half dead and they
mhm.
still be like 5% off or something stupid.
Oh,
Don't.
oh.
You have some David Austins, right?
I have one. I
One?
last
Okay.
year I
Last
bought a
year, I
David
remember you buying that.
Austin, and that was such a great one. Um, the thing is that it too died back real hard, and but David Austin, they give you a 5-year warranty, and I sent a picture of it, and I also told them what had happened, and they sent me a replacement. Olivia Rose Austin, they sent me a replacement, and I
Oh,
put it in the
wow.
ground. And she's so, I mean, they didn't send me the best one. They could have sent
No.
me a healthy thing, but it
Here
was
you
a
go.
lot.
This will keep her quiet.
Yeah, it was alive enough. So I put it in the ground, and it's it's just about this high right now. So it's about but it looks like it's about to bloom. So I'm excited to see what happens. But Lowe's has some really good roses too. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not, and I don't know if I'm just being stubborn,
Mhm.
but yeah, that's really nice when they do that. And poor G Mama, I don't know, are they the, because those can be pretty brutal, but I do find that they like to they prefer to go on my evening primrose because I had the evening primrose right next to my cannas and my hibiscus, which are known attractors for the Japanese beetle, and
Mhm.
it stuck to um, evening primrose, and
Mhm.
I didn't have any bites or anything on the other two plants. So each
Mhm.
year I get one, I leave it just for that, and then it
Mhm.
attracts them, and then you can just go with your bucket of soapy water and just kind of knock the ones you see in.
Yeah.
Um, you can never catch them. Yeah,
Mm.
they're tricky, especially if you're not out at the right time. I hate to say it, but they're actually really pretty.
What the?
The Japanese beetles, they're beautiful. They're like blue, green, iridescent on the back. Like they're actually really quite pretty beetles. DE, I don't know. I've tried DE. I don't know if DE works that great. I know people swear by it. Um, I don't know. G Mama's horrified that I think they're pretty, I think.
I know. I kind of agree with her. On my lilies, like I had Casablanca
Oh yeah.
lilies,
Hate
they
those.
used to eat them. So I would get some Raid bug spray and just spray the tree or some sort of bug spray that
Hey, Stacy.
works. And that one time spray that does it. Hey, hands in the dirt.
Welcome in, Mr. Stacy, this morning. And neem, I can't use neem oil.
Yeah.
Some of my most loved roses are called Music Box. Oh, they changed. Oh, I've seen that because someone was posting a picture and they're like, "Oh my gosh, my roses were this color and now they're this color. Like, what
Wow.
happened?" And someone was like, "Oh, that's just the variety of rose." No, it's funny. Yesterday I was out in the front yard and I was like looking at the beetle on one of the lilies, and my daughter's like, "Oh, but it's so pretty," and I'm like, "How can you think that's pretty? It's eating my."
I,
She's like, "But look at it, it's bright red." I'm like, oh yeah, I know.
Mhm.
I can't use neem. This just the smell of it, just gag reflex right.
Mhm.
Thinking about it makes me want to. Oh, I cannot. Just mm-mm. So that is one thing I cannot use in the garden. I'm like, I don't know if I'm allergic to it or what, but just the thought of it just makes me gag. I remember years ago when I was a kid, my dad had bought this like all natural neem toothpaste.
Oh,
So I don't know if maybe that triggered my neem phobia or But yeah. So when I first got like so when we got married and I moved in here, my husband had the arbor, which is still there, barely standing. That thing is so rusted out. I can't believe it hasn't fallen over. And he had two blaze climbing roses on it.
Mm.
And a
Oh, that's
couple of
good.
years covered, and they were absolutely gorgeous. And then a couple of years, like they didn't come back at all, like nothing. And then all of a sudden, like another year, it would come back. And then they just totally died.
Mm.
And so we pulled them out. And then a few years later, my dad bought me in Oklahoma. It was like their favorite
Oh.
smelling rose, Oklahoma.
Mhm.
That's in my zone. So my parents, like my dad used to do a ton of roses. He loves roses, but that was in Oregon, which is like a zone 8.
Mhm.
And they can do like the hybrids and the tea roses and all of that.
Mhm.
I can't do that here. They're not hardy enough. So
Mhm.
he bought me in Oklahoma. Um, and it died.
Mm.
And so I've just kind of given up. I love the look of a rose bloom, but I think
Yeah.
the plants themselves are quite ugly. And I don't feel I have a large enough yard to not see it. Kind of like a
Mhm.
rhododendron. Like I love
Mhm.
rhododendron blooms,
Mhm.
and the plant itself is kind of ugly.
Mhm.
So I think they're really pretty kind of in the background.
Yeah.
But I just don't my yard is not big enough to have anything in the background really.
Yeah.
So
But I loved what I saw. I actually watched your tour yesterday
oh, thank
on
you.
TV, and it was so beautiful. I love the peonies. Your peonies are so gorgeous.
They are beautiful.
Yeah.
Every
And
year,
mhm.
yeah, I never use. I'm sorry. You don't like my plants in real life. Well, you know what? For other people, and I think part of it too is for me. It was just my dad would roses all the time, like
Yeah.
rose, 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 and my mom always every year planted like red geraniums in the front, and I
Mhm.
could not bring myself to buy or plant red geraniums. I don't know
Yeah.
if it's just some kind of I'm just being stubborn.
No, but that's
I'm
okay.
just
That's
kind of
okay
sick of
because
it.
you
I'm
have your
over it,
own.
right? So, um,
You have
and I
your
don't.
own. You have your own garden
I
flow. Your
have my
own
own style,
feeling.
yes,
Yeah,
and
your
I
own
am
style.
much more of a bright color tropical person. So I would much
Right.
rather have the giant canna lilies and the elephant ears and that really tropical vibe rather
Yes.
than some of the other things. But I finally here. I'm like, "Ooh, I feel like I'm a real gardener now." Cuz it's
Did you?
like my friend was like, "How can you call yourself a gardener? You don't have any roses and you don't have any hydrangeas."
Oh wow.
She's triggered
I
by herself too.
sugar by the smell. I have to say with um, G Mama that she has inspired us, at least on our channel, to have an herb garden and to actually grow the herbs. And so I found that that has been exciting. Like for example, with the apple mint, and I bought some the bee balm. I love bee balm
Oh,
at this
sure.
time and just adding. Could you all hear me? That seems like it's getting louder and louder. The song.
Yeah, I can't really hear it. It's not picking up the lawnmower, so don't worry about it.
Oh, it's not. Oh, okay, good.
No.
Well, like the bee balm, um, which is so beautiful. So I think those kinds of perennials are good to add now, that are both medicinal and beautiful at the same time. And I think that that's the kind of gardening that I do. I love to see the vegetables that are beautiful. Like I think cabbage is attractive for some reason. The different types of the different designs. I just think even what else is some of these other kinds of flowers. The vegetables and the herbs, especially the herbs that are perennial, to add them to your garden, and they just add such a great look, and they last longer. You know.
Okay, neon purple bee balm. That sounds exciting. I added
Yeah,
feverfew
yeah. Feverfew is
and
good.
yarrow, so I'm hoping those come
Yes.
back. My lilac was amazing this year. I think the cooler weather just let it last, and it smelled so good.
Mhm.
Um, and I was kind of playing around with the idea of maybe making lavender jam. I mean, not lavender. I'm
Lilac.
allergic to lavender, by the way, so that's why you will never see lavender in my yard. Lilac jam.
Yeah.
So, I think it would be really amazing, but then I couldn't bring myself to cut the blooms.
Yeah.
Maybe next year. Maybe next year. Bee balm. Yeah, I want bee balm. I haven't really seen it around here. I could probably grow it from seed though, but
Yeah, I think it can be grown from seed, and just getting so that they have like a two, two different purposes. It provides the beauty, but also you can drink it as a tea, and you can put it in arrangements. They last long in arrangements. So plants like that, I think I'm trying to actually I feel attracted to that. Like for example, with the spirea. The spirea is beautiful. The leaves are beautiful in the um, in the spring because it's more like a yellowy gold, and
right.
then at this time it's this beautiful color, so it goes nice with the roses, and it has these nice flowers. And then I'm going to cut it back hard, and then it will have that fall coloring again with more of the orange and the leaf. The leaves will be the take center stage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spireas are super common around here. Like they use them a lot in like the city plant
Hmm.
and they get huge.
Yeah, well, you can always cut
So
that.
that's my problem. That's my problem with a lot of why I don't have like a ton of perennials because
Mhm.
I don't have a lot of space and I don't want to put in a perennial that's not like going to do like double duty like the bee balm would, right? Like I did buy a
Yeah.
butterfly bush. It's next to the fence as
Mhm.
something this year. Um Now that I expanded because we expanded the garden in 2020 and so I've just kind of been slowly adding in some perennials because I don't want them to
Mhm.
take over because
Yeah.
that's kind of what had happened before. So we used to have some really giant boxwoods we had to pull out. We pulled
Mhm.
out my Weigela had to get moved.
Mhm.
We pulled out 5 or 6 large shrubs from the back because it was just taking up the whole bed. I didn't have any room for flowers. So
Mhm.
I'm kind of hesitant to putting back in anything that gets too big. And another reason is our fence. That fence is like 20 some and he's fixed it twice because it's gotten snapped in the wind. And
Mhm.
I don't know how much longer it's going to last. So I really don't want to plant anything high value because a lot of the perennials and the shrubs, you pay a bit for them.
Mhm.
Um, I kind of really want to wait until if we have to replace the fence and then and I love it. I love perennials that come back and bloom amazing, like the peonies. And it is fun as they come and they kind of cycle through. But
Yes.
my heart really is with the annuals because they are just pumping it out all
Mhm.
season long. So
Yeah.
yeah. I'm
Well,
an
you're very good at that, and I liked what I had loved. One year you had a listen, just trailing the walkway. The it was so beautiful.
it's
Um,
coming.
it's coming. Okay,
They're
good.
very tiny. Some of them are blooming, but
Yeah.
probably in another month they'll fill in. So I'm
Yeah.
hoping to get that board. So I did go out and I dug up the ones that had self-seeded and I put them along the edge. So hopefully
Yeah.
they fill in again. I love that pop of white on the edge. It just really frames the garden, I find.
Yeah.
Um,
What other ground cover do you have? But you don't really have a lot of ground cover.
I have two main ground covers. One is it's a sedum, it's a green
Mhm.
sedum.
Oh
And
yeah.
that's my favorite because you can walk on it. So I
Mhm.
use it as my walkway on the bed on the left, and it
Mhm.
kind of gets crushed down, but it pops back up. And right now it's just getting ready to bloom and
Oh.
pretty little yellow blooms. And then
Mhm.
the rest of the season, it spreads really nice. And it does kind of send out little tiny trailers, but it's super easy to dig out.
Mhm.
So it's spreading and but I wouldn't say it's aggressive or invasive. Unlike on the
Mhm.
other side, I have the creeping Jenny.
Yeah.
That gets a bad rep. I haven't really fought with it too much because I don't have a very large clump, but I do like it to fill in because being on the hill, even if we get a ton of rain,
Mhm.
a lot of the water just kind of runs down. So I have to, in the heat of the summer, I have to water every day on the hill. It just doesn't because it's clay underneath, right? So the clay just rolls right down. So having that ground cover really helps retain the moisture and kind of shades those roots out in the heat of the summer. And it's just pretty. It's just nice not looking at the dirt. And we haven't really done the mulch the last few years because it was so expensive.
Yeah.
Costco, and then Costco has been carrying the one I like, and it's just I have absolutely no idea what variety of peonies I have. Um, Good morning, Francesca. How are
Hi,
you? Nice to see
Francesca.
you. Francesca is one of Miss Catherine's friends. Thanks for
Yeah.
calling. So peony. So actually my main peony, um, I'm trying to remember which one, but one of the peonies in my yard was actually from my neighbors.
Wow.
So at the time we didn't have a fence between our yards, and I was out in the garden and we had just tilled everything up and I just dumped. Wasn't ready to plant yet, but everything was prepped. My garden, my beds were just beautiful. And it was, I think, like probably mid-April. And all of a sudden, my neighbor comes flying out of her house and she's in a mad panic because they had people that were coming to put in their shed up at the top of the hill. And the next week, and I guess she got the date wrong. And so they were on their way. They were like in the driveway unpacking, and she didn't have anywhere to move her plants. She was going to move all of these shrubs out of the way before they came, and she didn't have anywhere to put them. She didn't have any pots, and she's out there kind of panicking and freaking out. And so I was all these fresh beds. The soil has just been tilled up. They're nice and soft. Let's just put them over, and then once the guys are done with at the end of the week, we'll put them back. So that's what we did. I ran over and I helped her dig them all up, and it was all her hostas and her, she had a ton of plants. And so in my bed, just kind of mass planted them in there. And I watered them and stuff for her. And then when it came time, when they were done with their thing and then their deck, she didn't have room to put everything back. So I got to keep one of the peonies. And then I think I ended up dividing it. And then she also let me keep, and then she gave me an Astilbe. So it worked out. Like, I wasn't doing it to try and get free plants. I just felt really bad. I was like, oh my gosh, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
And we've been, good friends with them for years. We go to birthday parties and stuff back and forth. And we used to do Thanksgiving and stuff back and forth. So, I was like, well, I got all this place to put. So that one was from her. And then I think the one in the front, I either bought at a plant sale or it was from one of my other neighbors. And I have a cutting from another neighbor who has no idea. So I have no idea the varieties. I haven't really bought them like at a store. A lot of my perennials, like my columbine, and I bought them at the plant sale. And so that just, a lot of times it will just say pink peony on it, right? It doesn't have like the variety. So
Yeah.
thank you.
I love your
I didn't hold them hostage.
your Oriental poppies. The Oriental poppy. That is fantastic. I've been trying to grow poppies, and
They're
if I
gorgeous.
seed and I just can't seem to get it to work in my garden. But I would love to have that. And I love red. Red is my spring color because I have so much green.
I will save you some. Seeds from that one.
Oh, that'd be nice.
I do winter sowing for most of my poppies, or just I sprinkle it in the soil randomly. And that one, I didn't realize it would bloom at the same time as the poppies. I would never have planted it right next. The peonies. I would never have planted that bright orangey red pink. Like, it's a little clashing.
No, but I like color.
I would not have put them there. But
I don't.
What
I
it
don't
is, I'm not moving them
problem
because they're both happy. But yeah, I think I did winter sowing on those. And the first year they didn't do anything, and then last year was their second season, and then this year they're going bananas, or banana pants, as Miss Nicole would say. So yeah, but I've seen there's a pink version of those.
Wow.
And I can't remember what the name of it was. It was called, I think it's like Princess something.
Mm.
And it's like a similar color pink to the one you have on your spirea in the Oriental poppies.
Wow.
So I'm like, ooh,
that would be nice. Yeah.
The only thing I don't like about the poppies is the plant itself looks like a weed.
Yeah.
So all spring, my husband kept trying to pull it out. Are you sure that's not a weed? Are you sure that's not a weed? So my advice to you is, a lot of poppy, like the other poppies look a little less weedy, but still kind of weedy. And so a lot of problems with people when they try the method where you just broadcast it into the snow or you put it out. A lot of the times, I think one of the reasons why people say they can't grow poppies is because they weed them out, not realizing they're done it. My neighbors have all done it. They're like, "Oh, I put seeds in the ground and they never came up." And then I was like, "Did you weed it all this year?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, I had to weed the area. It was full of weeds." I'm like, so that's why if it's something like a poppy I really, really want to grow for sure, I do it in the winter sowing containers.
Mhm.
I find winter sowing is the best way for me.
Yes.
It'll sprout. And then I know for sure that this is a poppy and I plant it out. And I know a lot of people say not to transplant poppies. They don't like being transplanted. Mine don't seem
I
to
don't
mind
think
it.
that would be a problem. Have you
So,
grown lupins? I think you had lupin in your garden.
yes,
Yeah.
I've got, yeah.
Wasn't it a pink colored lupin? I
I
think
have a pink lupin and then a
Mhm.
purple lupin
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
were both blooming this year. The purple one had already bloomed.
Mhm.
And I think I got those in a seed swap and I did those in the winter sowing containers as well. And I
Yes.
don't think I ever need to grow another lupin because
Self
thousands,
seeds.
thousands of seedlings all throughout the garden. A lot of them I
Save
left.
me some lupin seeds.
Yeah, a lot of them
Yes.
I left, but then a lot of them I dug up and I put them in containers and I
Yeah.
gave some of them away. Have I
Yeah.
ever tried moss rose or carpet geraniums?
Oh, that's a good one. Mhm.
Why is it not showing on the
I've tried
screen?
moss rose before. The carpet geraniums.
I'm gonna have to look that up. I can't like off the top of my head. Is that the same as like a portulaca?
Yeah, the moss rose is something like what you were describing before. It's almost like a sedum sort of thing, but it has
Right.
beautiful
Okay. So
flowers.
portulaca. Yeah.
Hmm.
Portulaca. I tried growing them from seed, and I think last year I had like two that germinated. But yeah, I bought like flats of them before and put them in my planter.
Hmm.
They're beautiful. I just find that they're kind of expensive, and I tried 2 years trying to grow them from seed, and I did. And so this year I was really trying to focus on growing everything I could from seed.
Yeah.
If I happen to see a flat, because one year I went and they were clearing out, I bought a flat for $6, a whole flat. I just put it everywhere, and then I gave my neighbor half of them, and she planted them in the front, and they did really well. So, yeah. And what was the other one? Is it this geranium? Is that the same term, or is that another plant?
Carpet
I need to look that up.
geranium. I didn't know that. But you know, I really admire the fact that you plant from seeds. And I think that you've been really a great inspiration to me to want to start to plant different things from seed. And even your willingness to do the winter sowing. And you know, it's so cold up there where you are in Canada. That I know that
Excuse me.
if Rachel can do it, I can do it too. I can plant those seeds and do the winter gardening, the winter sowing. But what I do love is the seeds with the vegetables, you know, and starting the vegetables, the
Yeah.
cucumbers. And this year I really went crazy with that, starting my vegetable garden with cucumbers and the microgreens. I don't know. I know you've watched me a couple of times when I've used the microgreen seeds from
I keep saying I'm going to do the microgreens.
yeah, but
That
I don't do
package is going
what
to
I
be
do.
expired by the time I get around to it.
Yeah, but what I do with the microgreens though, I got that pack from the Dollar Tree and I just sprinkled it out. And I've been eating them though, not as microgreens, but as spring greens.
Oh, nice.
And it's good. And then some of those seeds actually, I broadcasted so wildly that it actually came out of the border, and now they're really good size. You know, they've grown in really good, so that and I've been eating those leaves, and so those seeds can actually grow into large plants. You know, the size of a
Yeah,
good,
yeah.
um, you know, a good lettuce size, and it really makes a good salad. So I don't know if anyone else has tried that out, but instead of buying those spring lettuce leaves in
Right.
the supermarket in the bags or in the containers, you can grow your own, and they grow so quickly. And then I go out every morning and I just cut myself a salad.
That's
It's
so nice.
delicious. It's been really good. It's fresh. I do
Yeah.
like the hard, you know, the strong taste of the lettuce of the leaves. Like they have bok choy, they have the mustard greens. Depends on if you see the spicy. It
Right,
is
right,
so
right. Yeah.
delicious. Yeah.
Oh, that's nice in a salad. See, my daughter is pretty much she likes romaine or like maybe a bit of a red leaf lettuce, but she doesn't really like the spring mix. She doesn't like the funky leaves, like you get like those little the feathery ones or
Yeah.
some arugula gets thrown in there. So
Mhm.
I haven't grown a lot of spring mix. It's usually I grow different varieties of like romaine.
Maine, yeah.
So I have like the little gem is her favorite. She loves the little gem. So I have that out there. I actually did drop some endive seeds though. I went out in my nightgown in the rain. So I had just my nightgown and my raincoat because it's pouring down rain and I'm like throwing into my plant. I'm
You
like,
are
sorry, neighbors.
you're a great container gardener. And that is something that I haven't, because I have the land, but I also want to
Yeah.
do container gardening, and so you've been an inspiration with that, especially with
Oh, I'm glad.
my herbal
And
back here where I put my different mints and
keep
things
your
like.
mint in a container. Exactly.
Yeah, and because it's so convenient, I could just come out to the deck, clip some of those leaves,
Yeah.
and boil some water and have a nice tea instead of having to go all the way down to the other part of the garden to cut.
Exactly. I have a friend and she just moved into a new house last year and absolutely gorgeous gardens. Like the person
Mhm.
that lived there before did amazing job. And so
Mhm.
she was looking at this section in the back and she was like, I'm thinking of planting some herbs there. Do you think that's a good spot for the herbs? And I was like, no. I said, if you want to grow herbs, the herbs, they need to be right outside your door. Like you need to be
Yes.
able to step outside without having to put your shoes on
Yeah.
and just grab your herbs. So I said, if you want to grow like a bunch of herbs, like if you want to make pesto and things like
Yes.
that, then by all means grow a bunch of basil out there, but make sure at least by your door you have
Mhm.
things that you can just grab really quick because otherwise you're not going to use it. It's
Yeah.
just you're gonna be like, oh, it's raining. I don't want to go out and get it, or oh, I don't want to have to put my shoes on. It's whatever.
Mhm.
And so she started laughing. She's like, oh, she goes, that's a good idea. She goes, I had a pot that was on the other side of the deck last year, and I never used anything. So that's nice. If you're gonna grow herbs, make sure it's handy.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. Make
right
sure.
outside, right outside your door if you can,
Uh,
and label them, especially if you're gonna send family members out to get it.
Oh wow.
Because like I'll send my kid or my husband out. Like, oh, can you go grab? And I'll have to my kitchen is on the second floor, right?
Mhm.
So I'll run to the back window and I'll be like, no, not that one. Yeah, to the left, to make sure that they grab the right thing, right? Because I have chervil, parsley, and cilantro, and they all look alike,
Oh wow.
right? And so, even when I'm planting them out, I have to taste, just to make sure for sure.
Yeah.
They all look a lot alike, but
I love your
yeah,
tomatoes. How you have your tomatoes lined up like that? That's good.
I am so happy about them this year because I
Mhm.
didn't know if they would do well there. The last few years, they have not done that great
Mhm.
because our tree's gotten bigger and the neighbor's tree has gotten bigger. And so it really only gets about 4 hours of direct sunlight there.
Mm.
And so I was kind of debating. This year, I told my husband earlier in the season, I'm not going to do my tomatoes there. I'm not going to do my tomatoes there. And then I was like, well, I have nowhere else to do them. So it's there or nothing, basically. And so we ended up taking off the branch that was kind of coming over the walkway area, and it did open it up a lot more. Once they get about 3 or 4 feet tall, then they're going to catch the afternoon sun will come through from the other side, so they'll get more sun
Yes.
once they get bigger. But they are going gangbusters, like they
Yes.
be
That
there,
looks
they are
so
growing.
good.
So I'm really happy with that. So those are all indeterminate varieties
Mhm.
that I started, but my dwarf varieties are putting out tomatoes. I got some ripe ones. I got to film a video. I'm really excited about the video I'm going to
Yeah.
film, but I don't want to spoil it in case it doesn't happen and it doesn't work out. But I have a really fun idea for the video. But yeah, I'm going to have to do a harvest video this week and I'm going to have to string up those tomatoes. So that's going to have to happen again this week. So I do need help with that because I can't quite reach the gazebo all the time. So um, some of it, I don't know what all's going to get filmed or not. I can't film and do a harvest video on my own. It's just doesn't work. But oh, I have a question. Okay, Maureen's in the chat. Maureen and I are teammates for the gardening and homesteading skills grow off. It used to be called Shed Wars. Now they changed it to that. So we are teammates on it's all about, weighing what you're growing.
Mm.
When I harvest my rhubarb,
Oh.
can I weigh it with the leaves still on? Or do I have to strip the leaves off? Just asking, because I've seen people harvesting peas and weighing it, but they're shelling peas. But they didn't weigh them after they. I'm wondering. I got to look into that. If anyone knows the answer for that or not, or if I have to look into it, because I don't want to be cheating, but I don't want to cheat myself either. Because a lot of the stuff I'm going to be harvesting, it's especially the herbs, it's so lightweight. Like it's a huge bushel, and it's like, ooh, half a pound, yay! Right.
Well, the rhubarb. So, do you make rhubarb pie? Or what do you do with the rhubarb?
I'm not a big pie person. I'm not a big fan of like pie crust. I can make a decent one, but I'm not a huge fan of it. My husband does like it. I prefer a crisp or a crumble. That's for anything. I prefer. So I make a rhubarb crisp usually every year, and a couple of those throughout the year, and then rhubarb syrup. So to make the rhubarb syrup, basically you just chop up the rhubarb, and then you put in water and sugar, and you just simmer it. It's a lot like how you would cook cranberries. Simmer it until it's soft.
Yeah.
And then I let it cool down, and then I strain it. And so what I strain off goes into a bottle, and we use that usually for drinks. You mix it with a bit of club soda, and you make this beautiful, like refreshing little rhubarb syrup. My daughter loves doing that. I love that. And then gin.
Yeah, that's good.
And then with the rest, you now have basically like a rhubarb compote. So at that point, we use that like jam and put it on breads and stuff. So this year, I think I'll have more. And if I harvest some from my friend, I might try rhubarb jam for the first time. I've never had enough to make. We have enough to make a few crisps, and then it is what it is. And I never canned before last year. So last year was my first year ever canning.
Oh, wow.
So normally I would just make enough that I could just, a few jars and keep them in the fridge long enough. So last year I actually canned. So I did the crabapple jelly, and I did tomato relish. No, green tomato salsa. I did beets, and I did a caramel apple pie jam.
Wow, you should have a cooking. Do you add cooking to your video?
No, because that caramel apple pie jam did not set. I did not realize packages in Canada are a bit smaller than the US pectin package. So when it said 1 package of pectin, I should have added a little bit more. So
yeah, but I think
welcome in.
Oh, I was thinking that the different shaken ranch. I think that's what I saw.
I don't know how it's pronounced, but welcome in. Nice to see you.
Yes,
it's really good. I never weigh anything when I harvest. I don't normally, but I'm in this challenge. And so I have to add it up. And so many times, especially I'm worried, like when the tomatoes and the beans, a lot of times I'm eating them, right? So when I go out in the garden and then weigh myself when I come in.
So out of all of the vegetables that you make, which ones do you like growing in your garden? What grows the best?
I've had really good luck with peppers, like hot peppers and the small peppers, tomatoes. What else? I'm growing for the first year this year some squash and zucchini and cucumber. I've never grown just regular cucumber before. I've grown cucamelon, but not regular cucumber. So I'm excited about that. I also am hopefully growing eggplant in them.
Okay. Why do you say hopefully?
I can't find them. They were in my tray. I had all my tomatoes and my peppers and my eggplants were in there, and I planted everything out. And now I don't know where you plant because they look a lot like a pepper plant.
Yeah, sort of. Yes.
Yeah, and so I'm like, is that a weird looking pepper plant? I'm not sure. So I'm gonna have to wait until they maybe put on some fruit to tell. They're gonna be the little orange peppers.
Okay.
I mean,
eggplant.
So I'm excited about that. I'm excited to be overwhelmed with zucchini. I can't wait.
Yeah.
Zucchini.
Oh, last year.
Zucchini recipes I love to make. I love cooking with zucchini. Hey, welcome in Rushing Wind Mountain. Nice to see you this morning.
Yes.
But the pepper. So I'm excited this year. I have the habanada. It's getting big.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited to try that. Because sometimes I do make a lot of dishes, and you never know, like sometimes they can be really spicy,
Yes.
and I love spicy food, but sometimes I get the hiccups when I eat stuff that's too spicy. So sometimes it's nice to have the flavor without too much of the heat, and then you can just
Mm-hmm.
kind of add in the heat as needed later. So
Yes.
I have drop ahi and the Chiro rock. So I've got a lot of nice varieties of peppers, and then I have like the chocolate Trinidad scorpion, which I don't know what I'm going to do with
Oh my
that.
goodness. Whew.
And I have a red scorpion. Yes, your first time in here, so thank you. And my lovely guest is Miss Catherine from Catherine's Garden and Home. Her
Hello.
link is in the description of the video if you want
Rushing
to check
Wind
her
Mountain. Hmm.
channel out.
You know what I really like about the fact that you use your vegetables and you cook them. You don't just grow them, but you actually come up with these different dishes. And I think that that is what more people, I think, especially for new gardeners and so forth, they grow a lot of food, but then what next? What should you do with it? And I think that that is, that you're actually inspiring me to
Oh,
do some more different
I'm
ways.
happy to hear that, and honestly, especially I'm gonna, one bit of advice, especially if you're getting like an overabundance of a vegetable at a time, and you're kind of sick of it how you normally cook it.
Yes.
Look for ethnic recipes
Oh, okay.
for that vegetable.
Mhm,
So type in that vegetable, and then type in like Indian or Middle East,
mhm.
Chinese or Japanese, or and it will take that vegetable, but it will just completely transform it into something totally different, so that you're not sick of it. So
Yes.
I made this grilled zucchini the other day, and I made this absolutely delicious yogurt sauce. So it was a
Ooh,
Lebanese Pakistani style
mhm,
zucchini. It just, you grill it like normal, and then this yogurt sauce. And so it was yogurt with fresh garlic, lemon juice, olive oil, and then in a pan you roast up some cumin seeds and coriander seeds, and you just
mhm.
kind of dump it all in, blend it up. It was absolutely delicious. I ended up drizzling it over my salad. Like I
Yeah.
yogurt. It was so good. So that is amazing on zucchini. One of my other favorite things to do with zucchini is quesadillas.
Oh.
So one of the food bloggers I used to always follow, Smitten Kitchen, she did a grilled and very simple. You just kind of pre-cook the zucchini with some salt, pepper, and garlic, and then you throw it on some corn tortillas with some cheese. And it, the way the corn and that zucchini come together, like
Wow.
it is
That's
amazing.
awesome. You're gonna have to do a video on that.
Yeah, I should. If I get zucchini, I'm like, I was gonna do some last year, but I was, I'm a gardening channel, and it feels weird just using store-bought zucchini to do a recipe for zucchini. Like it should be coming from my garden.
I Oh, it's gonna come. Don't worry. Zucchini last year, I had so many
I
zucchini.
hope so.
I had
I hope
four
so.
plants, and from that zucchini, I had tons and tons. I filled a little freezer with zucchini because I
Oh,
like to
nice.
freeze my stuff,
Yeah.
and it went on and on and on, and I handed out and gave away and just so much. It was just amazing. Yes, Rushing Wind Mountain. Hello, I have some
Oh, volunteer
relatives.
nice.
Yeah, that's good, Francesca. Hello,
I took
Chloe.
out some fallen
Hi, Chloe.
tomato plants yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I'm like,
Chloe's
I
one of my subscribers. I see a lot of my people coming on here.
yes, that's
Chloe
very
and
nice. Yes.
Francesca. I claim G Mama. Yes, I do. And
What?
Nina
Oh,
was
now we're
like,
gonna have to fight over G Mama. Come on
G
now.
Mama's my girl. Yeah, and so it's so good to be here with you, Rachel. And you are such a good inspiration. And I do love when you
Oh,
come
thank you.
on because you make me laugh all the time, especially with Dexter. I don't know how you garden with him, but he just seems to add so much joy
He is
to.
everywhere, up in my business
Mm-hmm.
constantly, unless of course he has the GoPro on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, what? Why the GoPro slows him down? He just.
He just freezes. What
Oh,
happened? How did I get this backdrop?
I don't know. Is that your backdrop?
This is back when we had snow and my greenhouse. Like what happened? That's
Oh.
so weird.
Mm.
It just changed. I was just closing the screen that has the camera on there.
Uh-huh.
Um, so I'm back. That's just really weird.
Mhm.
I should have put the garden behind me, but I didn't think to do that
Yeah.
this morning. Yeah, so I do want to come up with some. I will be doing some zucchini recipes. Hopefully, even if I don't have enough zucchini to do it myself, I will use store-bought zucchini because it's cheap that time of year, anyways. Another fun stuffed zucchini. So
Mhm.
you cut it, you stuff it with meat, and then you cook it in a yogurt sauce. That's also kind of a Middle Eastern recipe. Eggplant. Like there's so much you can do with eggplant. I know a lot of people kind of panic with eggplant and they only think of like eggplant parmesan, but you can go all over the world. Great
Yeah.
eggplant recipe. The easiest thing to do with eggplant: dice it up, saute it in a pan, and dump it on sweet chili sauce,
Yeah. Well, in the
and serve
West
it with
Indies,
rice. Oh my
in
god,
the
it's so good.
my parents are from the West Indies. So from the West Indies, in the West Indies, what they do is they cut up codfish and zucchini,
Oh,
and they put it in there and with dumplings, and it's just so good.
that
Um,
sounds amazing.
yeah, with the peppers and so forth. And so you make
I
it.
love a good eggplant choka. I'm not gonna lie.
Mhm. Yeah, it's delicious. Eggplant and codfish.
Yeah, and I'll have to show the recipe my neighbor I got from my neighbor, and it's an eggplant curry, and it is. She brought it. We had like a potluck thing once, and she brought it, and I was like, "This is the best eggplant I've ever had in my life. How did you make this?" And so
Mhm.
she's like, I don't know. I just throw like she just makes it. She doesn't have a recipe. So she came over to my house and I wrote down everything and she put it into Suzette. So I call it eggplant Suzette. But it's like a bagan, what is it called? The traditional, I can't remember what they call it in Trinidad, but everything's a choka, I basically. Every West Indian dish is called choka.
Choker.
But I find, and then my other friend who's Indian, she has a beautiful eggplant and yogurt,
Okay.
and it's
You like
cold.
yogurt. You like to put everything with
I
yogurt.
do. Well, they use a lot of yogurt in the cooking, and it goes
Uh,
so well with the dishes. And I just and I'm trying to eat
mhm.
more yogurt because it is good for you, right? So I'm trying
Yeah,
to
it's supposed to have.
gut
Do you
health.
do you do you grow cilantro?
I do. Yeah.
See, that's going to be new for me. I just did a tray of
Oh, you're gonna
potato
love it.
cilantro, and I love basil. Basil is so good. Chloe says the Thai peppers and the Thai basil. All right.
Thai and Thai
Pepper.
eggplant. That sounds amazing. I have
Yeah.
a really good recipe for the Thai like garlic eggplant
Okay.
recipe. It's so good. Yeah, like when I go to the local grocery store, I can get Indian
Mhm.
eggplant, Thai eggplant, regular, larger eggplant, long, skinny. There's like 6 different varieties of eggplant there. So,
Mhm.
um, in season, like the prices are really, really good. So, um, I was gonna try and grow one of the smaller varieties, and then I ended up buying the orange ones. So
Mhm.
we'll see if I actually even have them out there.
What inspires you to want to grow from seed? What I mean, you're
I'm
not.
cheap.
Hmm?
I'm cheap.
No,
I
you
am.
got to be more than
That's why
just
I sew. I want to grow all the things and I don't want to have to be constrained by the cost. And so here, especially like the price in the last few years of like
uh-huh.
bedding plants,
Hmm.
like a flat of petunias, it used to be, was $12 and now it's like 18 or $24. And
Wow.
to
Hmm.
put in the amount of flowers that I want to put in,
Hmm.
I can't afford it. I can't justify it. Like when I went that day, so the only plants I bought that I bought in my whole yard this year,
Hmm.
I bought the I bought an asparagus fern. I bought the Prince Tut, which is the most expensive thing
Oh
I bought all
wow!
season. It was
From Proven
9.99.
Withers, the
What?
Proven Withers.
Yes, Proven Winners Prince Tut was
Ooh,
nine
that must
ninety
have been
nine.
expensive. Mm-hmm.
9.99. It wasn't bad. And then I
99.
bought 3 of the vines. And the sweet potato vine, they were $4.99 each.
Wow.
Right? And so that was like I bought like 5 or 6 plants and I was like, "Oh my gosh, like
Yeah.
I could have spent for the what I paid for those few plants, I could
Yeah.
have bought so many seeds and so many
Seeds.
varieties."
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
You said
Oh,
you were related to Baker Creek?
no, I wish. bad
Have you been
Baker is
to
such a
Baker Creek?
common. Too bad Baker is such a common name. I
Have you
could have
been to
tried to
Baker?
claim.
Did you ever make it down there to over there? No.
I would
Ye-
love to make a road trip sometime and go to Baker Creek, especially for one of their festivals. I do think that would be amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you get your seeds? Just through the seed swapping?
I do seed swapping and I order. So this year I ordered from Stokes Seeds, which is a Canadian company,
Oh.
just balls.
Hmm.
I've also ordered from Vessie's, which is another Canadian company. I think they're in Nova Scotia.
Hmm.
I used to order from Baker Creek, but then they started charging shipping to Canada.
Hmm.
And now they can charge, there can be duty added on.
Wow.
And some people have been hit with duty. So I'm like,
Hmm.
yeah, I don't want to bother with that.
Hmm.
Ordered as well from him because he still does the free shipping to Canada over a certain amount.
Hmm.
Um, so that's the thing here in Canada, like shipping. Stokes wasn't bad. I think it was like $7, but some of them they'll charge $12, $15 for an order of seeds. And thinking I could have gotten 4 more packs of seeds for that. So
Hmm.
sometimes I try and wait until I can get like a free shipping code on seeds, a seed order or something like that.
Hmm.
I'll pick up seeds in the store. Like if I go to Terra or one of the nice big greenhouses, that's where I bought some of my nasturtium seeds this year that I'm trying. Um,
Yeah, a big thing I want to do is
swaps.
to save seeds of the plants that I really love. And I know G
Yes.
Mom is big on doing that. She likes to save seeds. Um, Gardens for me, you're right, Rachel. Chinese is slim egg so like $3.99 to $5
Wow.
stores. Wow, Chloe. Hmm.
Oh, sorry.
You're right, Rachel. Plant prices is always has almost doubled here. Yes, yes. Oh, that's what I went to a low Home Depot yesterday, and just seeing little begonias, but just because the begonia had grown to a certain point, and then they could put it in a 6-inch pot, the
Right.
price was ridiculous for one begonia. Whereas
Yeah.
if you know buy it even in a small little seed tray, you could get
Always buy the cell packs
the cell packs. Yeah.
because once you put those in the dirt or put them in a pot, they will catch up to the other one in a matter of
Yeah.
weeks for
Yeah.
the extra
I, s-
expense.
I said they've been making a killing in the Depots and those, especially for new gardens because everybody wants to garden now, which is great. But they've been taking advantage of. And so that's another
Yeah.
thing when you had asked me earlier, what is it that I really want to do this year? And that's to find different ways of propagating different things through seeds, through cuttings, through
Yeah.
by doing water, using just cutting off the stems and just putting them in water and letting them root. Different ways of rooting different vegetables and different things. And even just looking at my garden itself and seeing, well, what can I add instead of, because I have a lot of space, what can I add to the garden without having to spend a lot of money. And so then that way I can pick the things that are the specialty plants, like the hydrangea and the hibiscus, the perennial hibiscus, those big shrubs that I want to put in or add, or even maybe I might even try a king tut since you mentioned it here. I
I'm
might
a
try
huge fan
something
of the
different.
tuts.
Yes.
I did a king
And,
tut the first year. It was
mhm,
enormous. It was
mhm,
amazing. And
mhm.
then I've only seen the prince tut since
A
then.
prince tut.
So
Yeah.
that's all I could get this year. I've
Yeah.
seen like they have the queen tut.
Yeah, the queen.
I'm
Yeah.
not as drawn to that one. It
Hmm.
seems more of a spread out. It's not
Okay.
as like bam impact like the
Hmm.
king and the prince tut are. So
Hmm. Would that
um
look good in? That would look good in the pot, right? In pots.
mine's in the yeah, so I put mine in the big one of my big orange pots in the
Okay,
back.
I
And
gotta look for that.
it's a water plant. So if you have like a boggy area or even if
Hmm.
you have like a pond or if you have like a water
Someplace where it's
planter,
settled. Uh huh.
you can
Water
put
plant.
the king tut. It's papyrus, right?
Hmm.
And so
Hmm.
it loves that. And so do the cannas. So I have the king tut and I have the cannas in the back of that pot. So I'm
Hmm.
always careful when I water to make sure I water the back half really, really good because I know those two are going to just suck up the water from the rest of the plants.
Yeah.
But we've been getting so much rain this week. I have So that's been great. So
Yeah.
welcome in, Dave Knight. You are watching from the garden. Must be nice out.
Hey,
Kind of
Dave.
overcast. I don't know if it's cloudy or if smoke is coming back in. I don't know, but it's kind of overcast outside. Catherine's looks beautiful where she's at.
Yeah.
I attempted doing a garden and it was just an absolute disaster. It was so bad. It was glitchy. I was cutting in and out, and I was
Yeah.
like, you know what? I don't know what. My Wi-Fi, it was terrible, and then I switched to data, and it was also terrible. So I don't know. So my
Mhm.
husband's like, just go back to doing it in the office, and I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
but it's so nice. I want to be out in the garden.
Yeah.
It was just terrible. So is it too late to plant canna seeds?
Mm.
Um, Probably not. It depends on if they're probably not going to reach full height, but I mean if you have them, I would go ahead and try. Scarify them first, nick them somehow. I found using the doggy nail clippers to be the easiest for me. Um what was the other method? Oh, I tried the saltpeter, soaking them in like the saltpeter thing. That did not work for mine at all. Um the thing with cannas is once they grow pretty fast. So I think if you can get them somewhere nice and warm,
Mm.
um, if it's warm enough outside or if you have like a winter sowing type container, I would be tempted to kind of once you nick them and soak them and they get the little, the little sprout comes out of it, stick that down, and I would put it in like a nice container with a lid on it and put it outside, and that should just get it nice and hot, and get it sprouting. It can take once it sprouts, I think it takes about a week and a half to where you'll start seeing the leaf come up.
Well,
But once that grows, I mean, you'll see it'll grow, a couple of, it grows fast once it gets started. So, um, like I wouldn't use all of if you just have a few, I wouldn't use all of them, but I would try a few. I would think you would still have chance to get something out of them this year. Depending on how late your season is, right?
yeah. I was wondering, Chloe, what is your season? What zone are you in?
Yeah, what zone are you, Chloe? And a garden for mom. Where are you at? Like that's outrageous.
Yeah.
That is outrageous. I don't know what you're buying for that. Like that.
Wow.
Wow. Orange pots were $4.99, which I thought was pricey. 5A, 6B. Okay. 5B, 6A. So same as me. Yeah. So
Yeah. Well, you're the one who inspired me to dig up my cannas at the end of the season and save them. And right now, some of them are coming back. I don't know. I left one in the pot and covered it over, put a whole lot of different things on it, like leaves and so
yeah,
forth. And it has not shown back up.
yeah.
I think it's mush probably, but definitely, I have some cannas, and they are coming, but they're very slow. They're just showing leaves now. Um,
Yeah, I should have started my cannas a lot sooner than I did this year.
mhm. Yeah,
I
it
should have
just
started
seems
them in
hard.
March
Yeah,
next year.
but then you have something to look forward to in the late in
Oh
August and
yeah.
in July. Well,
Some of
the
them
end
are
of
growing pretty fast. I'm impressed with
yeah,
how big some of them are getting already. But yeah, it
yeah,
seems like once they take off, they go crazy and they love water. So if you have an area in the yard, like at the bottom of where that gets kind of swampy at all or
yeah.
gets a lot of water, put those cannas right in there. They love it. Love, love,
That's
love.
exactly what I'm going to do. Because I have this container that gathers the water, and I don't want to put a hole at the bottom of it. And I was using the water actually as a way of gathering water for when it is dry, that I could just go to it and, like just use that water, that rainwater, because rainwater is supposed to be really good for the plants. But I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to move those cannas to that container because it has a lot of water. It holds water, and I'll let it grow that way. So
Yeah,
I'll
and
let
if you do
you
get a
on this
Prince Tut, it
grow.
would love that too.
Yes, yeah.
They say if you don't scarify your canna seeds by nicking them or something, that if you just plant them in soil, it can take up to 10 years for them to germinate. So
Wow.
that makes me think that they probably have a pretty long shelf life. I don't know
Oh,
for sure, but I would say it's probably safe to assume that if you don't, they'll probably still be fine next year. I would guess. I've grown some from previous years. Um, so I
what about your mango seed? I remember that time you did
Hi
the
Frosty, how are you?
frosty longwood.
Frosty's gonna
Hello.
be in here asking about the mango too. Yeah,
Yes.
they were doing really well. And then I went out one day and they were gone.
Oh.
So a squirrel or a chipmunk right out
Oh,
of the container. So,
wow.
and I was gonna do them again this year, but it's just like I haven't got around to it. But my husband, we have a box of mangoes downstairs, and he cuts
Yeah.
them up this morning. And I keep saying, "Save." I'm gonna tell him, "Save me a mango seed tomorrow. We'll do it again. We'll
Yeah.
try it
Do it
again."
again. Do it again.
Like to try it. I also am thinking next year I want to try growing some chayote.
What's that?
It's like it looks kind of like a green apple or a pear, and it's a squash from South America,
Oh.
and it's really good. A lot of people like it better than zucchini,
Mm.
but the whole thing is basically a seed. So you basically plant the whole little thingy and stick it right in the soil and let it grow. But it's kind of a slow one, so I would probably have to start that in April, probably in like February,
Mm.
to get it big enough to be out in the garden. Yeah, they died because the animals dug. So I found one of them was missing and then one of them was on the table, and I tried sticking it back in and it just
Oh.
didn't take. So yeah.
Well, now that you have that greenhouse that you were able to put, now how? Tell me about your greenhouse. I was so proud of you.
Oh, I love
Oh,
the
look at
greenhouse. So bought it 3 falls ago now, I think.
that.
He bought it at Home Depot. It's actually a 6x6 like ATV storage garage.
Oh, okay.
And it was the model that was set up in the store, and so they were clearing it out. So I think he got it for something like $60.
Mm.
And it's a 6x6, and it came with like a solid cover, like heavy duty tarp. And so what we did is we just kept the side that has the zipper door on it.
Hmm.
And then we use the Polytarp Super 6, which is like
Yeah,
vapor barrier, that thick plastic.
big
We
plastic.
use
Yes.
that for the rest of the greenhouse. Unfortunately, because we are in the industry, we already had a giant roll of Super 6 on hand. So, and we
It's
used
not
the
that
duct tape.
expensive because I tried to purchase some
It
of it.
is expensive.
It is. Mm.
Well, I mean, plastic, so the price of everything has gone up.
Gone up. Yes. So now it is.
We
Yeah.
can buy it. We buy it directly from the manufacturer, so we get a
Just
better price on it. But we have to buy like the whole, like if you go into the store, you'll probably buy a smaller one. We buy like the big roll of it, because we use it for work. So
yeah.
we had that, and so the first year putting it together, it took a lot longer trying to figure everything out. But he is Mr. Gadget, so he's out there. He's got a grow light in the top. He's got
Uh-huh.
2 exhaust fans that come on when it hits 80 degrees in there. There's
Wow.
another fan in there that circulates. Everything's on a timer. There's
Yeah.
a gas heater, electric heater for backup. There's a radio. Um, he actually, so when we first put it out, and I didn't have a lot of my seedlings out yet because I don't really like to put my seedlings that are in the small soil blocks
Yeah.
out too soon,
Yeah.
because those need watering every day.
Yeah.
You know, we set the greenhouse up, there was still snow on the ground. So I don't want to go out every morning,
Yeah. That
you
was
know, traipsing through
amazing.
and everything. So I kept those in the house. So he had quite a bit of room out there with just some of the larger plants. And so he had
Yeah.
his lawn chair.
Did he go?
He would go
So he
out
hung
there.
out.
He would go out there and spend the afternoon.
It was his hangout.
He'd
Oh,
have the
that's
radio
cool.
on. He's in the lawn chair. Him and Dexter are just sitting in the greenhouse having a great time. So
That was good.
I went out and read one day. I went out,
Mhm.
it was probably like, 20 degrees Fahrenheit outside, and I'm
Yeah.
sitting in the greenhouse
I
because we had the
saw
heat on.
that.
It was really nice. So,
Yeah, that's one way of getting him involved in your gardening
well,
process.
he grows his own plants that I have
Oh,
nothing to do with. So,
you better watch out. He's gonna look for some space in the garden.
well, that's been part of the problem. And that's the only reason we have the greenhouse, is because he wanted it for his stuff. So,
Oh.
yeah, not for my stuff, for his
Yeah.
stuff. So, because of course his stuff is way more important than mine. His 4 plants that he grows.
Yeah.
Um,
But at least you got you got to benefit from.
I get to use the greenhouse, the rest of it. So
Yes.
he enjoyed going out there so much
Yes.
that we're thinking of maybe setting it up in the fall
Yeah.
and leaving it up all year. And we probably won't like try to keep it heated all winter long, but like if it's a nice day and you go out, like it warms up pretty good even on a
Yeah.
cool day.
Mhm.
But it's one of those things where you go out and you can just turn the heater on while you're out there and then turn it
Right.
on just to
Yeah.
kind of, go out and get some sunshine in the middle of winter.
Yeah.
It's going to be kind of nice. So I'm excited because that means that I can maybe overwinter or
Yeah.
extend the season on some of my cold stuff. So
Right.
lettuce and things like that. I mean, I'm growing a lot of them in the 5-gallon buckets already. So I can just grab those buckets and greenhouse and just kind of see how long they last.
Yeah.
Last year I had some stuff that stayed fine up in, into December.
Mm-hmm.
So up until we get like a really heavy, hard, cold freeze, I might be able to really extend the season. So I'm excited
Yeah.
about that.
What about lemon, lime, and orange and trees?
Oh,
Would it be too small for that? No,
yeah, and it's not very tall.
not tall. Yeah.
Like I can stand up in it, but it's not
Mhm.
it's not very tall.
Yeah.
And then it would have to be heated all winter
All the
long.
time. Oh, that's true. That's true.
And that would end up costing quite a bit, even though we have the gas heater now, so it's cheaper, but
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
But that was exciting. That's good for you. Yeah. Good to know. I was only going to ask if you had planned trying to.
I do. It's just I had so much else going on. I was like, I can't be babying this thing. So now I'll be excited to do that. And I also have some ginger and turmeric that I've just shoved in the pantry and it's starting to root a bit.
Wow.
Ginger too. So maybe I'll do all of that. I'll do like my tropical.
Africa.
I'll do my mango, ginger, and turmeric all at once. Yeah, you struggled with the mango last year. I've heard a lot of times people can get it to grow once you hit like the 2-foot mark. They're very, very sensitive to humidity. And if you're not humid enough, because it's such a tropical plant, if you're not humid enough where you're at, or the temperatures fluctuate. See, that's our problem is like we can get warm enough during the day to grow things, but a lot of times in the evening, in August, we start cooling down in the evening.
Wow.
You'll need a sweater and things like the mango.
Mhm.
They're like, nope. So it's one of those things where if you had like a more protected area you could put it in, or you had like a container, you could kind of just put like a big jacket over it. Something like in the evenings to keep it warmer. I mean, I will never see fruit off of a mango that I grow in one season. So
Yeah.
I'm just not prepared to baby it that much. I would be more likely to baby like if I bought a banana
Mhm.
and I spent the money on that, because I've been watching Erin at Impatient Gardener and her banana plant.
Oh,
And she managed to overwinter it. So I'm like, because I have seen those get pretty marked down at Home Depot. So I might have my eye on a banana plant.
yeah. Yeah. I won't tell.
But that always had that. That's been there for years. Oh, yours got to 5 feet. That's amazing. That's awesome. Yeah, I've heard they're just really tricky. So I don't know if I'm like, I don't do houseplants. I don't really have an interest in houseplants. I don't really like. This is to me when people say, "Oh, you have a green thumb." No, I don't think there's no such thing as a green thumb.
Uh-huh.
To be successful in anything, whether it's gardening or sewing or cooking, you need 2 things.
Okay.
You need to have an interest and you have to put in effort.
Yes.
So for me, I have no interest in houseplants. I don't. So I've tried growing them, they die, and people, oh, well, you need to do this and this and this. And I'm like, I don't really care enough to try
I don't like
that.
it either.
Exactly. So I don't have the interest. I would take the time and I don't hurt, but I don't have the interest.
Yeah.
So when it comes to cooking, I have both. I don't mind putting in that time and effort into trying new dishes and trying different flavors and things like that. And it's the same thing with the garden, right? Like it's not a green thumb. Like, I've been out there busting my butt since January, growing these things, them, taking care of them, watering them,
Yeah,
out there digging, weeding, planting. Like, it's not a green thumb, because to
yeah,
me, I mean, I know people say that as a compliment,
yeah.
but to me, it's kind of like it's devaluing all the effort, time, work, knowledge. Oh, 5 inches. Sorry. I guess I should have put my glasses on. Yeah, 5 inches. Okay.
I think it's the passion. See, whatever it is
Yes.
that you're going to do, you have to be passionate about it. You
Yes.
have to want to have the desire to want to learn about it, and then take the time and effort. And because you have the passion for it, you want to learn something. It's anything with learning any new skill, any new thing, and
Exactly.
wanting to give it the time. And then you just love it. It becomes second nature to you.
Because
And
so many people
whatever
want,
you're
yeah,
doing, it responds back to you too. Whatever put into it, that's what you're going to get back from it. And
exactly.
people notice that. And
Yeah. Well, and a lot of times, like my husband, he'll be talking to someone and be like, "Oh, I tried to grow this and whatever." And he goes, "Well, did you try this or this?" Or like, "Nope, nope, nope." Well, did you look into it? Did you read? Did you? Nope, nope. They don't put in the effort. They don't want to read about it. They don't want to have to learn about it. They want to just stick it in some soil and have it grow. And they
right,
don't want to have to do anything about it. And then when it doesn't grow, they get mad and oh, I can't grow anything. I was like,
yeah,
well, you didn't even try.
right, yeah. Yeah,
And
I
some
think
things
that's
just
what
don't work in your area, right?
makes us gardeners. That's what
Yeah.
makes our gardening community so exciting, because we find other people who are passionate about plants, willing to put in the effort, willing to give it the work. And it's not a chore, it becomes a
Yeah.
joy, you know. And
And you're not
that's what I
afraid of
look for the
failure.
garden for joy.
Yeah.
I want some happiness. I want to feel when I come out of the garden that I can get a good night's sleep, because I'm relaxed. I'm in the right attitude, and especially with the way that the world is going, you
Oh
need
gosh.
something
Exactly.
that is going to give you immediate pleasure. And I find that gardening gives me immediate pleasure. That when I go out and walk around, even in the rain, that's why, when you were talking about being in the wintertime
Yeah.
in your greenhouse, my goodness, you get to dream, you get to just be in the garden, even if you're undercover and snow and everything, and you can put your plants in there, and just extend that joy a little
Extend
bit
the
more.
season. Exactly. I'll probably have to get like a fake palm tree.
Yeah,
Uh,
with your flamingos.
with my flamingos. They can live in there for the winter.
Yeah, so you can
Yeah.
have a little vacation, even if it's for 5 minutes from the inside out. Just get some of that sun.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I'm happy for you, and I'm glad that it's also good that my husband too. He's just developed a real lot of love for the garden as well, and he seems to want it. It's almost like if it's his garden now. I call my garden Catherine's Garden and Home,
Yeah.
LWS. So now I'm gonna have to add his name to it too.
In parentheses.
Yes, because but it's kind of good, because as it's yesterday, we both went out to Home Depot and we were looking at the gardening things. Right away, he started picking up his plants. He says, "Oh, we need 2 carts. We don't need one. You could put your plant in your cart, and I'm gonna put mine, my stuff in my cart." And I'm like,
Does he have a brother?
"No, no." Yes, but so that is, I think, a really good thing, and that when you're able to get your husband, your whoever you are, your spouse, to be involved in this too, that it just makes gardening so much more of a family thing. And I see you've got your daughter involved as well, to help you out with the gardening. I think that is really a good thing.
I mean, a lot of it with her is under. Um,
Mhm.
she does not enjoy it that much. She enjoys
Mhm.
being out there and whatever, but she's not
Mhm.
into gardening and all of that. And I said, well, listen, it's still you're learning, and you know more
Mhm.
about gardening than a lot of other people that have never grown anything, right? So
Yeah.
she's picking up a lot of things, and she has a really good eye for design and color and things that go together. So,
Yeah.
we'll be somewhere, and she'll be like, oh, that would look really good between this and that. And like she's absorbing a lot more than she thinks she is.
Mm-hmm.
Some of my friends, like, they've never planted anything in their life, they've never grown anything, and sometimes the questions they ask are, my daughter's like, what, like, how do you not know that? She's just been exposed to it, and she prefers the videography chores. Here, so today, depending on the weather, I'm probably going to do a harvest video this afternoon, so she'll be handling the camera. My husband does not hold the camera. No, he has no interest in it, and I can make
my
her do
husband
it.
is camera shy. You
Oh
will not
yeah, he
see
doesn't want to
that.
be on it, but he doesn't
He
want to
doesn't
hold
want to
it.
be on it,
Yeah.
but he loves the lawn. He loves caring for the lawn. He loves doing all of that other stuff. And now he's getting into the flowers. So at least I know I have help. I'm not doing this all by myself. But I'm going to have to run. But it has been a pleasure.
It has been a delight to have you on here, Catherine. I've been wanting to do, having more guests on. And I'm just always, I never think of it in time. And that's why the thought came during your live last night. I thought, you know what, let's just do this. Let's just do this. Trying around people's schedules. Sometimes it just doesn't work. So sometimes just spur of the moment works so much better. But thank you so much for coming in. I really, and I had a great chat, and go check out her garden. It's absolutely gorgeous. She's growing a lot of things from seed. She just started her watermelons yesterday.
Yes.
So we're rooting for you.
Right.
We're rooting for those watermelons. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much, Catherine, and I will see you on the streets.
Yes. Thank you, guests, for coming, and welcome to my channel. I'm very happy to have you come and join us on Wednesdays at 5:30 p.m. during our live then Eastern Standard Time. And hey, Nino and Lo.
Nino and Lo. Hey.
How are you?
Thank you all kindly, Francesca.
Bye, Francesca.
And Nino and Lo, I haven't watched it yet, but I got a notification that she's got her winter sewing video came out today. The results are in, so I'm gonna have to watch that after.
Yes.
Yeah, Nino and Lo are just probably about for me, so we're gonna have to do a meetup one of these times. We need to do a YouTube gardening meetup. I wanted to plan one for at the Canada Blooms, but they canceled it this year again. So maybe next year. But we should get together this summer. I won't keep any longer, Catherine. Yeah,
I really enjoyed my Canadian gardening friends. Thank you so much for being a part and watching the videos and hitting the like buttons and making the comments. And I definitely want to continue to watch your videos as well. So stop on by.
Thank you. Yes.
And thank you so much, Rachel. I really appreciate this.
Yes, I'm so good. Anyone that's in the chat, if you just type in the word link, it will drop your link if you want to connect to anyone else. So Catherine's link is in the description, so you can go and click on that. But yeah, so anytime you need to leave, Catherine, that's fine. You can just hit the button there.
Okay.
I don't want to kick you off.
No, you can kick me because I don't even know which button to hit.
Okay. All right. I'll drop you down. All right. Bye. Now she can figure it out. She's still backstage there. Yes. Bye, Frosty. Take care. Yeah. Drop your link. And also, if you type in the word weather and then your city name, it should drop. This is all I've gotten around to actually programming Nightbot to do. I keep forgetting to add the jokes. I got to do that. Yeah, we are 65 with wind. Like this week is I'm it's not bad though. I don't mind not having the blistering heat. It's been nice for the seedlings to get a chance to kind of root in, and we've had a lot of rain so that hopefully their roots and everything can grow without just being blasted with the heat. Because yeah, we easy wind and heat and all of that. Miss Francesca is in Minnesota. That's where my mom's family is from. My grandmother was actually born in Superior, and then my mom's family were from Bemidji. So that's where they were originally. And then, you know what? Minnesota wasn't cold enough, so they moved to Alaska. But my mom's family was originally from Norway. So apparently we just like to stay in these northern cold climates. No warm climates for us. So if anyone else in the chat has anything they want to mention, oh, yeah, it's crazy. We have our street party this weekend, and normally she picks the hottest day of the year. Like normally it is so brutally hot that you have to like sometimes there'll be like a sprinkler that like everyone's running through. So here will probably be like the first year that it's not blistering hot, which will be kind of nice for a change. But yeah, I had to wear my jacket yesterday to go for a walk. So ugh. Spokane, Washington. I have a good friend that is a wheat farmer in Davenport, which is near Spokane. I've been to Spokane a few times. I grew up in Oregon, so I have been up in that way a few times. And it looks like you're having very similar weather to us. Yeah, I'm just glad the smoke's gone. We were having pretty bad with that smoke for a while there. It was brutal. Like, ugh, it was just gross. I was starting to worry my tomatoes were going to taste smoked. Yeah. So I am excited for I'm excited to find the eggplants that I've grown for, uh, you know, from seed. I'm excited to see if I can find where I put those in the garden. Hopefully they made it in there. What else am I excited about that's new this year? The nasturtiums. So I have 3 different varieties of nasturtiums that I'm growing that are new. I had kaleidoscope climbing nasturtiums. So I'm actually really excited about those. I don't know if you watch Soil and Margaritas, but Roxana has the most amazing nasturtiums in her planters, and I absolutely love them. And I'm really excited to see mine fill in, and they look the leaves look kind of like a little. You can eat them. Oh yeah, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. The bad thing about us having such a cool winter, though, I find is that all of the plants in the stores are still looking great. So normally the plants are looking bad and they start discounting stuff heavily, especially by Father's Day. Stuff is usually really, really discounted and barely cleared. And this year everything's still looking really good. So I'm kind of disappointed because I really wanted to go and grab some discount plants. I have my eye on and then I want like either a jasmine or a gardenia for the deck. And that I might try and overwinter in the house. Both of those, because I have been fairly successful overwintering my one little hibiscus plant. So I might try that. If I can get them knocked out to a much cheaper price, then I'll grab a couple of those. But last time I went, everything was still full price because it was still looking great and they haven't had to discount anything yet. Oh, that's cool. I've never actually been to Davenport, but I've been to Spokane there. Yeah. Oh, that's not good. That's not good. The weather because they had just planted their wheat, so they were happy for the rain. But she was feeling bad for the people that had just rolled up their hay and hadn't had it covered yet. So I'm a gardener on a very small scale, and the weather can affect me, but thank God it doesn't affect my livelihood. I cannot farmers planting things because I mean there's so many different variables and that you just have no control over the weather in some situations, and it can just really make or break your entire year. It's got to be just so incredibly hard on them. Trees here, it's been a bit cold, so I'm wondering if like we're going to have a delay. We have fruit trees around here, but it's mainly like apples, pears, things like that. We have a lot of apple orchards not far from us. So I don't know if they're that delayed or not. We had that weird, really warm 80 degrees in like April, was it? For like 1 week. And then we dropped back down like below freezing. It was crazy. So sometimes things like that can also like give a false start to plants, and then that can cause a problem as well. But it's a cool spring. So we had a very cool and wet June, July. No, we had a super hot June, and then July just like rained and was cool. And that was my first year ever getting blight on my tomatoes. And I mean, no one really has had blight here. It's just not usually very common. And that was so I will be keeping an eye on that this year. If I see similar weather conditions, then I'm going to be treating the plants. Here's that's not good. That's not good. Are you guys getting any rain there now, Francesca? Yeah, the weather where my parents are up at Anchorage and they've been really cool. Like they still haven't warmed up at all. They've been in like the 50s, and Fairbanks has actually been pretty warm, but wish we could send some rain your way, Francesca. Right? Today it looks let me see what it's saying for weather wise here. I think we're supposed to get rain this evening. So I'm not sure hourly. Let's see when we're getting rain. It looks like afternoon is a risk of thunderstorm. We've been under kind of a thunderstorm risk. And then I guess yesterday we were under like a potential tornado / water spout warnings. Here, if we get tornadoes, they're very small. Maybe a few houses will get damaged. We don't get like nothing like you get down in the Midwest or the southern parts of the U.S. But it's still a little bit, nerve wracking. I was going to go for a bike ride, and my friend was like, "We're under kind of like a tornado warning, so maybe you shouldn't go for a bike ride." I'm like, "Oh, I've been trying." The weather has not been cooperating. So tomorrow is 72 risk of a thunderstorm, and then Saturday is going to be 75 and sunny. It'll feel like 79. So that's going to be absolutely perfect for the street party. Sunday, 77 and sunny. And then next week will be in the mid 70s all week. I'm happy with that. Tuesday, 77, but feels like 88. That is plenty warm for me. I really don't need it any warmer than that unless it's a beach day. So hopefully we'll get to go to the beach soon. Yeah. In between rain today, we finally oh, good. Nope, it builds and then nothing. That is a bummer. Yeah, my daughter had Monday off from school and she was like, I want to go to the beach. But it was pouring down rain all day. So beach was out. So hopefully we'll get some cooperation. Last summer was a dry summer, but it was not really didn't have a lot of beach days. It just wasn't warm enough to pack everything up in the truck and drive to the beach, or even just to go to the river, which isn't as far. It just wasn't warm enough for any of that. But these regular temperatures, the mid low 80s, are absolutely perfect for hanging out in the backyard. And what Catherine was saying about her husband enjoying spending the time in the yard with her, the more we've done in the yard, and now that we have the shade from that big tree, and we have the portable air conditioner on the outdoor deck. It's a fan that you run the hose through it and it cools the air. It can also have a misting feature on it. It is amazing. It drops the temperature by about 20 degrees. So even in the heat of the summer, we really enjoy just being out on the deck. Like we have our chairs, and especially my husband and I, we just love hanging out. I am in Brampton, which is a suburb of Toronto. So I'm in Canada, and I'm in a zone 5B. We usually get pretty hot and humid in the summer, but we have just been unseasonably cool this year. So being a lot, especially I grew up going camping, and then even when we were first married, we would go camping every year, even when Sydney was little. And then the cost of camping has gone up, and the amount of work to go camping, like you spend 2 or 3 days just packing everything up to go. You get there, you have to set everything up, and you enjoy it while you're there. But we usually go, it's just the three of us anyways. We don't really go with anyone else, which would make a big difference if you were able to go with another family or a group. And then you have to pack everything up. It always rains when you're packing everything up. And then you come home and then you spend the next 3 days cleaning up and all of this and that. And it's like, you know what? basically just hanging out on the deck. And we have, a fire pit that we can put out on the deck, and we can, do s'mores, and we can, and we also have, my husband has a propane heater as well. So if it cools down in the evening, and I don't know, it's just enjoy our days out there. We enjoy our mornings out there, and we really enjoy the evenings. And I just don't feel the need to go camping. I've gotten lazy, I think, in our old age. But camping's expensive. Like by the time you add in like the tax and everything, it's up like $50 a night for a campsite. It gets ridiculous. Would rather save up the money and, go to a hotel for a couple of nights and enjoy all of that, rather than, all of the effort and work and everything that goes into the whole campsite. And then the problem with the camping with the dog is a lot of the beaches don't allow dogs at the beach. So if you want to go to the beach, someone has to stay back with the dog, and because you're not allowed to leave the dog in the camp. That means that, it's like we're split up. So it's just not feasible as much for us anymore. So, hey, Blue, how are you this morning? Welcome in, sweetie. It's good to see you popping in. Exactly. You know what? We put so much time and effort and money into the back. We're going to enjoy it. And I used to do an end of summer soiree, like at the end of August every year, for like the lady friends. So I'm going to be happy to get back to that, because of course the whole COVID thing just shut everything down, and it didn't work out. And then last year it didn't work out. Something came up, something happened, and it just didn't work out. So I'm actually hoping I should do one earlier. I should do one like maybe summer solstice. When is that? It's like next week. But yeah, it's just really nice to be able to just hang out and have a drink. And our neighbors are usually out on their deck on their side, and so we'll kind of chat back and food back and forth and stuff like that. So it's really nice. And we can hang out and be with Dexter. We're not spending money going out. We don't really go out. Like, we don't go out to eat for dinner. Like, we might go out for our anniversary, and that's pretty much it. We're, my husband's a real homebody. I enjoy going out, so I'll go out for lunch with my daughter, but he much prefers hanging out at the house, and just we cook, we eat well. We both enjoy cooking. Oh wow, that's exciting. The longest day of the year. He's really into like the whole meats, right? He's got a couple different barbecues and a smoker, and lately he's really into the sous vide. So he does a lot of different meats and cuts and things like that, and he'll do them in the sous vide, and then we just throw them on, the barbecue or whatever after, to kind of crisp it up. And then I'm in charge of all the sides, so it works out really well. We eat really well. And fortunately, he's very open to different cultures and different ethnic foods as well as I am. So we eat a lot of variety of food. And so we're not like just stuck eating the same things over and over. So my daughter as well, we eat a wide variety. We eat a lot of, Middle East, Thai, Caribbean, Chinese, we'll throw in some Greek, sometimes some Italian, some good Polish pierogies and sausages now and then. So we eat a big mix of everything, which I think really helps. It helps with the variety, and you don't get tired of it. And it helps when you're cutting, trying to cut costs, right? So we look through like the Flip app or the flyers, what's on sale this week. And if it's a cut of meat you're not used to too often, or it's a vegetable you're not really familiar with, then I will say, oh, this is on. This is like Oppo squash was on a couple weeks ago. And I was like, Oppo squash. And so I went and I looked up some recipes, tried it, and we really liked it. So we're really trying to expand our diversify our foods based on what's on sale, because I find as costs of everything go up, a lot of people, if you're just sticking to the same foods all the time, and you're just all of a sudden you're paying more and more and more, you look at other kinds of foods, especially other ethnic foods, and it might be a vegetable you've never heard of before. And we have a lot here that I had never heard of or seen, like the chayote, but sometimes that'll go on sale as well. And I love the chayote. You can make a really nice slaw with it, or you can chop it up and saute it. It can be eaten raw or cooked. So I find that just, kind of diversifying, and then like with meats, like with chicken, we'll go and we live next door to the Maple Lodge chicken shop, and he'll go and buy 2 whole chickens. You can buy 2 raw chickens for $11. It used to be $5, and then it was $7, then it was $8. It's up to $11 now. He throws cooks them. And then the first 2 nights we eat them like as just like roast chicken. So I'll do like some gravy on the side, maybe some mashed potatoes or whatever. Then by the 3rd day, I'm usually stripping all the meat off and we'll do tacos or we'll do something else with the shredded chicken. And then I make a big stock with the bones, and rotisserie chicken bones make the best. It has so much flavor, and then I'll make a soup out of it. So like we can eat all week long on that $11 of meat, right? Love bulgogi. My aunt, my husband, my husband, nope. My uncle's wife was Korean. Well, Korean, but she's not still his wife, if that makes sense. So when I was growing up, when I was a kid, they actually lived downstairs at my grandparents' house. And I remember sitting around making a bunch of little tiny, 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 tiny dumplings on the counter. And she made the best bulgogi. Oh my goodness. I love it, love it, love it. You got to run. Oh, got to run. This is awesome in here. And I hit that. Oh, thank you so much. I used to always go live on Thursday nights, and Thursday nights have gotten so busy. And so I don't know. I'm kind of like not on a live schedule right now. So it's just going to be kind of whenever I have the time, and I'm just going to hopefully pop up. So yes, if you hit that note, yeah, I absolutely love bulgogi. And I always have kimchi in the fridge. I love kimchi. My husband and my daughter hate it and they think it stinks. So I have to get that lid off and on again really quickly when I eat it. I try to eat that. I'm trying to eat healthier. I'm trying to improve my gut health, fermented foods more often. So for me, that's, a lot of pickled foods and kimchi and sauerkraut and things like that. And I absolutely love anything pickled. But yes, I love it. Veggie version of kimchi this week. Oh, nice. That sounds delicious. Yeah, I have in the fridge right now, I have like the traditional cabbage kimchi, and then I also have a turnip kimchi, and that's in like cubes. And it's really good as well. I haven't made it from scratch myself because, well, I can buy it really cheap at the Asian market just up the street. Alone, my husband and daughter would kind of they would not appreciate me making it from home because it does have a bit of an aroma when it's fermenting. So I'm okay with just buying it now. But like I've done like a quick kimchi, like a quick kind of like a quick pickle with cucumber kimchi in the past, and that's really good as well. I love japchae. Japchae is one of my favorite things. My husband and daughter absolutely hate it. They think the noodles taste like worms. They cannot handle the texture of the sweet potato noodles. I absolutely love it though. So sometimes if I'm making a Korean inspired meal, then I will go ahead and just make japchae for me on the side. And they're like, nope, I think it tastes like worms. I love it though. Yeah. Oh, now I want bulgogi. But my aunt, she has a recipe. I did get the recipe from my cousin for the bulgogi. Unfortunately, it doesn't have any ingredients. So she just uses soy sauce, brown sugar, a bit of ginger, I think, and sesame oil. I believe it was just like those. It's a very, very simple recipe that she uses. I know like the traditional one, you use like the Asian pear and all of this and that. I've always just kind of used recipe, and it's just absolutely delicious. Actually, this lady I follow on YouTube, what is her name? So Long. She just came out with a ground beef bulgogi recipe this week that looked really good and really, really quick and easy to make. So I might try that soon. I also want to make some moussaka or moussaka. I have a Greek friend, and they always make fun of the way I say it because I don't say it right. I say it the English way. But I love that. And honestly, I think my daughter might like it now. She used to hate eggplant. She doesn't like the idea of eggplant, but when I make the eggplant curry, it kind of falls apart in there. She doesn't know it's in there. So I think she would be able to eat the moussaka, especially if I kind of chopped it up and put it in there. So yeah, it's pretty much the same as normal, but no shrimp paste or fish sauce. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay. Right. I know. I was wondering. I thought maybe you just meant like mixed veggies instead of like just traditional, like the cabbage or whatever. But that's what you mean by that. No fish sauce. Is there a substitute that you can use? Seems to me like there was something you You could probably use like maybe some inari or seaweed, maybe a little bit of seaweed flakes in there. I wonder if that would kind of give you the bit of that, briny, fishy flavor. If that's not already in the recipe, that could be good. Oh, I love Masaka blush. It is just, it is so good and just melts. I used to make it quite a bit, and my husband was kind of meh on it, and my daughter didn't like it, and it's a lot of work. Because you have to make it's way more work than lasagna, if you ask me. But I'm not going to be doing the whole salting and patting dry the eggplant anymore. I've heard that they've kind of bred that bitterness out of the eggplant, so you don't really need to do that. And I don't do that anymore when I'm doing eggplant for anything else. So I think that's going to save a lot of time and effort. This is also carrot, daikon, and something else. I can't remember. I love Manchi. Tap, tap. I love Manchi. I love her videos. She's so cute. And she just makes me want to try absolutely everything. What was it she was making the other day? And I was just like sucked in. My husband's like, haven't you watched this video before? I'm like, yeah, but it looks so good. I think it was her crispy, makes everything look absolutely delicious. Yeah. Yeah, she's so cute. Yeah, there's a few channels I really enjoy watching. I like her. I love Solong, something like that. She's also, and Souped Up Recipes is a great Chinese recipe channel. If you follow her, she does a lot of she has a whole series that are like better than takeout. And so it's kind of like more, like takeout style Chinese dishes. Those are really good as well. I also like a channel called Pans, but he says it really fast, so it sounds like he's saying spicy pants. So I do get a chuckle out of that, but I enjoy that channel as well. For Caribbean, we have a local chef here in Canada, in Hamilton, Caribbean Pot, Chris. He's from Trinidad, and he has some pretty good, I might say. I really liked his, I used his Jamaican style pickled mangoes, was it? Or peppers. I think it was his pickled peppers, his Jamaican style pickled peppers. I did that recipe. I've done a handful of his recipes as well. And there's actually a Brampton chef called Daddy's Kitchen. And they started kind of during the lockdown. The daughter started filming him on TikTok on Instagram, I think it was. And they kind of went viral, and they started a YouTube channel. And now they're at like several hundred people really well. His recipes are all more like Jamaican style recipes. So if you're interested in any of the Caribbean recipes, then I enjoy following those. Unfortunately, I am very lucky that I live very close to a lot of Asian grocery stores, and they carry a lot of Caribbean ingredients. So ingredients I need for pretty much any kind of recipe within a very easy distance. I got Indian grocery stores. I've got the Asian grocery store. We've got a lot of Caribbean grocery stores nearby. And then in Mississauga, not too far, is the beautiful, it's called ARZ, and it was a beautiful Mediterranean, gorgeous. It's really, we go inside and my daughter's like, ooh, it's fancy. But the prices are really nice, and they just have a really nice variety of food and everything there. So I'm going to say it's almost lunchtime, and thank you so much, everyone, for popping in. I had fun. It was so nice to have Catherine on. She's such a doll. Really, like the happiest gardener I have ever met. She is always so happy and upbeat. If you get a chance, check out her lives on Wednesday night. It always puts you in a better mood. She's always over there. She's singing. Oh, and I forgot to bring up, she does have on Amazon, she's selling a gardening journal. So she has a beautiful garden journal book. I will try and remember to leave that in the comment section of this video after. I forgot I was going to ask her about it, and we just got caught up talking about so many other things. So yeah, so go check out that. I'll drop the link for that if you're interested in, kind of journaling your gardening process. So, and anyone else, if you have a new video this week that you want to just mention in the comment section. I know Nino and Lo had their winter sewing container live, and not live, winter sewing container video. But if anyone else has one, just say, hey, I dropped this this week, and So thank you so much, everybody, for coming in. I really had a great time, and I'll see you on these YouTube streets. So hopefully my next video will be a harvesting video and or stringing up the tomatoes, because that really needs to get done. And I've been kind of putting it off because it keeps raining on me and I don't want to get all wet doing it. So anyway, and I'll see you later. If I can find the end broadcast button.